If the SM57 were a microphone, it would sound like this, the Beyerdynamic M201 TG. I know that's going to tick off a lot of... Wait, was that the mail bell? Oh, hey. For me, I would say about 500. How many subscribers I just lost for saying anything bad about the Shure SM57. Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to another edition of the Versus series. That extremely contentious quote, that comes from Steve Albini's old website. I love Steve Albini. I trust Steve Albini. But I want to see what I think about this. I want to test it out and compare these two classic microphones. But like always, before we get into the sound tests, let's briefly talk about the build quality. Both of the microphones feel absolutely outstanding with an all-metal body. The SM57 does have a plastic cap near the end, but both of these are tried and true, and they are durable as heck. They both have a flat end, so you can get very close to the instrument you're miking. The 57 is slightly longer with more of a tapered shape, while the M201 is more of a neutral flat shape. On the rear of both microphones, you will find an XLR port, and if you care, the 57 is made in Mexico or China, while the Beyerdynamic is made in Germany. Now let's start with the sound tests, and the first thing we're going to do is a blind spoken word comparison. This is a spoken word sample on microphone A, which I am about 6 inches away from. This is microphone A. Now I am on microphone B. I am at the exact same distance. The gain is set identically for both microphones. This is microphone B. Again, I am on microphone A. Here is how it sounds. Let me know which one you prefer. This is microphone A. And again, I am on microphone B for a second spoken word sample. This has been microphone B. The microphones will be revealed in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Microphone A was the Beyerdynamic M201 TG, and microphone B was the Shure SM57. Which one did you end up liking better? Let's go on with the video. Now to dive a little bit deeper, the Shure SM57 goes for $100. It has a cardioid polar pattern, a frequency response of 40 Hz to 15 kHz, a sensitivity of around -56 dBV, and an impedance of 310 ohms, while the Beyerdynamic M201 TG costs around $300. It has a hypercardioid polar pattern, a frequency response of 40 Hz to 18 kHz, a sensitivity of around -58 dB, and an impedance of 200 ohms. Now I'm spinning around the SM57 to 90 degrees to hear the off-axis rejection and coloration. Continuing around to 180 degrees, this is the rear. Continuing around to the second 90-degree angle, here we go, and then rotating and ending at the front of the microphone. And now I'm spinning around the M201 TG to 90 degrees. This is the off-axis rejection and coloration. Continuing around to 180 degrees, this is the rear. Here is how it sounds. Then going around to the second 90-degree angle, here we are, and then rotating and ending at the front of the microphone. Now I am typing on a keyboard with Gateron blue switches to see how much of my voice versus how much of the keyboard the SM57 picks up. And I am doing the exact same thing with the exact same keyboard to see how much of my voice and how much of the keyboard the M201 TG picks up. Now I am right on top of the Shure SM57 and right on top of the M201 TG. About 6 inches away from the SM57 and about 6 inches away from the M201 TG. Now I'm about 2 feet away from the Shure SM57 and about 2 feet away from the M201 TG. And finally about 4 feet away from the Shure SM57 and about 4 feet away from the Beyerdynamic M201 TG. I know these aren't really handheld microphones, but I want to be complete and see how they handle handling noise. Bit redundant. Start with the SM57. Beyerdynamic. Let me go ahead and turn my headphones down for this. Now let's see how they reject plosives. First, the SM57. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. And then on the Beyerdynamic, please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. I'm at a loss for words and I don't have a thing to say. All my riffs are played out and they're lame. So I'll force myself to play another song that sounds the same. Maybe those on YouTube will not notice or say, yeah, it's just the same pop-punk riff over and over again. I am trying to expand my horizons, so eventually, maybe it won't be the same song every single week, but don't hold your breath. Let's go to the conclusion. And the winner of this Versus series is, drumroll please, this shouldn't be any big surprise, the Beyerdynamic M201TG, with only one exception. First up on the electric guitar, if you're looking for a mic that allows you to have more control in post-production, I think the 201 is the winner because it comes across a bit less sharp and a bit less peaky. But if you're looking for a microphone that sounds a little bit more finished, it has a more controlled low end and a much more aggressive top end, then I think the 57 is the winner. I found it overall a bit more exciting and aggressive sounding and a bit more enjoyable. Unless we got to the really high upper register of the guitar, then I think it gets a little bit piercing. But overall, I think the 57 sounded a bit better. The 201 will give you a bit more control because it's a lot less sharp and a lot less peaky. Then on the acoustic guitar, my winner is the 201TG. To my ears, it gives a much more balanced sound between the lows, the mids, and the highs. As I already mentioned, it doesn't have any really aggressive peaks, which leads to it sounding a bit smoother. If you're looking for a really aggressive acoustic guitar sound, the 57 would probably fit that bill, but the winner here will come down to what your application is. If I had to pick one of them, 201 is what I'm picking. Next up for singing, I found the SM57 to sound a little bit overboosted, and to my ears, that made it sound a little bit artificial and unpleasing. The M201 came across a lot more balanced, a lot smoother, without any obnoxious peaks, so I am picking the M201 as the winner for singing vocals. And finally, for spoken word, I am picking the M201TG as the winner. This shouldn't be any big surprise if you follow me, because the M201TG is one of my all-time favorite microphones. I love the support that it offers in the low mids. I love how smooth it sounds. I love that for a dynamic, it has this amazing extension into the treble and air frequencies, and at the same time, it also avoids those obnoxious peaks, which can make a dynamic microphone, to my ear, sound quite grating. So that is why I am picking the 201TG as the winner. To conclude this video, I guess I'll respond to that initial thesis that the SM57 is not a real microphone, although I do think that was just hyperbole. I understand why some people may not like the SM57 because it does come across overboosted, a little bit artificial, a little bit peaky, and I do prefer the M201TG on a lot of sound sources. However, I think the SM57 is still a fantastic sounding microphone. It is incredibly durable, it is tried and true, and it's 1/3 the price of the M201TG. So if you're on a limited budget and you're looking at these two microphones, the SM57 is the obvious choice. If you're miking up a 10 or 15 piece drum set or 15 instruments, the 57 is probably going to be the obvious choice because $1,500 is a lot more stomachable, is that even a word, than $4,500 for the 201. But if you're only looking for a handful of microphones and your budget allows for it, I think the M201TG is a fantastic sounding microphone that sounds much more natural and much more pleasing to the ear compared to the SM57. Alright, that is all that I've got for you today. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Which of these microphones did you prefer, the SM57 or the M201TG? If you found this video fun, interesting, or helpful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Hated it, big ol' thumbs down. Want more videos, subscribe. And if you want to support the channel and become one of these amazing people over here, you can do so by clicking that join button or going to patreon.com/podcastage and joining at the $5 tier or higher. It really does help me continue to bring you these videos, so thank you to all of them, and if you choose to join, thank you. That is all that I have. I will talk to you in a week or so. I love you so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Talk to you then. Bye-bye. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.